to episode 112 of the show, and we're here with some guests. We're back online, which is probably the first time in like 30 odd episodes, but we're back on the Zencaster. We love it. But we've got the faithful trio, our footy experts. We've got Rowey, and two Broadies. We've got Jack and Finn. How are you, Rowey?
I'm all right, mate. I'm pumped for the footy to be back. I am pumped.
Yeah, Jack, excited for your Carlton boys getting up on Thursday night?
That would be a miracle, but I don't think I've been more pumped for a season. We were starved of going last year. I just can't wait to go back to the G.
And Finno, are you optimistic about your Ds or a little bit worried?
I don't know. I'm nowhere to be excited or ready to see more losses at the G, but I don't know. Either way, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm actually very keen to get to some games, to be honest. I kind of took a year off footy almost last year, and I'm excited to get back into it in all aspects, back on the Supercoach bandwagon as well this year, so keen for that. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to go through team by team, and you three are going to share your predictions. I'm going to take a bit of a backseat and just listen to your expertise and we'll just justify why you think that's going to happen. So I reckon we just get straight into it. We're going to go reverse alphabetical order, give the teams down the bottom of the alphabet some love first. So we'll start with the Western Bulldogs. Rowey, you can kick us off, mate. How do you think the Dogs will go this year?
Beauty. Well, unfortunately, the Dogs fell to the demise of the mighty St Kilda Football Club last year. Obviously, that was expected, but yeah, so it was a very disappointing year for them last year, given the quality of their list, especially their midfield. I think they're getting to that time of the I think the players rather are getting to that time of their career where they really know how to win a flag. They're all getting to that prime age. Bont, Dunkley, McRae, especially. They're all really entering their primes now. They've been in the system for 4, 5, 6 years, and most of them know how to win a flag, as they did in back in 16. So, I've got them. Are we doing predictions now for the ladder, or?
Yeah.
So I reckon they'll finish 6th. I still don't think they've properly addressed their forward and back line issues. I think Treloar in there helps. It'll help swing Bont forward, and he's obviously was an animal against Melbourne, but let's be real, anyone can be. No offense, But yeah, I still think they'll have their sort of scoring troubles and conceding troubles. I'm not sure Tim English down forward's the right answer with Stephen Martin coming in. But yeah, I think it's a big year for Bevo, the coach. He nearly lost Dunkley. He's a bit of a weird man with his tactics and all that, playing Dunkley in the ruck and so on. But I think he's under a lot of stress at the moment, given the quality of their list and the fact that they really need to taste success, many of these players, because they did pretty much not live up to their expectations at all after their first flag. So it'll be a big year for the Dogs. I think they'll finish 6th, but I don't have them going into the top. I don't really have them going past the elimination final. I reckon the same sort of fundamental flaws will trip them up again.
Jack, do you think they can make the jump to a top 4 team, or do you reckon similar to Ray?
No, well, I actually had them the exact same. I've got them finishing 6th. I think, they've probably got almost too many elite midfielders, to be honest, and that means that some of them have to play out of position, Dunkley in a ruck. The positive is they can put Bont forward, which could make up for their lack of key tall forwards. As we probably know last year, Josh Bruce is my whipping boy. I thought he was absolutely horrendous. So Norton's really probably still their best backman. So I don't know what they do with him, but still some troubles with the spine for sure. They brought in Steph Martin, which I like, but to win big games of finals football, you need to have a strong spine, and that's still their weakness. Midfielders will only get you so far. So 6th. I think they'll have a very solid year. They'll win a lot of games, but maybe win a final, but that's it.
Finno, are we going 3 from 3 on 6th, or are you disagreeing with the
That
boys?
was surprising from my perspective. I've got them finishing 2nd. So.
With Josh Bruce leading the attack.
Well, I'm thinking Jamara will come in the equation at some point. And with their midfield, like Dunkley, Bont, they can both go forward with the addition of Treloar. So, yeah, look out.
Josh Bruce kicking 50 goals according to Finn Broadbent. I think I heard you say that.
No chance. No
all right,
chance.
that's interesting take there on the Dogs.
If he kicks 30, you'll be lucky.
Jabara's a
All
great
right,
bloke,
moving
to
on
be fair.
to. All right, yeah, Rowey's a big fan of Jabara.
I've met him a couple of nights out, and he
moving-
actually gave a bit of chat, so I like him, but not sure he'll be getting the Dogs second, but I'm happy to be proven wrong.
All right, moving on to the Weagles. Broady, Jack Broadbent. Probably shouldn't call you Broady, as we do have two Broadies on here, but Jack, what do you think of the West Coast Eagles for 2021?
They're my slider for the year. Very disappointing losing their first final last year. An aging list. They didn't really do too much in the off season, but I mean, they've still got a lot of quality players. We know that, but I think guys like Shuey, Kennedy, these guys are starting to get a bit older. Hearn. So yeah, I feel like they're my slider. I've got them finishing 9th. Now I might be a bit harsh on them, and I know they win.
Listen of Carlton in the top 8.
We'll wait for that later. Thank you. I've got them finishing 9th. I know they win a lot of games in Perth, so that's a bit of my hesitation. But I'm going to stick with my prediction. And, the Weagles have had their time in the sun, and they're going to be slowly falling down the ladder over the next few years.
Finno, surely you're not backing Broady in there. Surely you don't think
Nah, I got the
that top
Weagles
8?
finishing 6th, so I don't think they'll drop off that quick, but who knows? We'll see.
Rowey?
Yeah, I tend to agree with every word that Jack Broadbent had to say. I think when we did our season rundown last year, I had him actually sliding all the way down to 13th. I had a tiny bit of a reality check. I've got him actually sliding down to 10th. But nonetheless, yeah, I agree with every word you said. Aging list, I can't ever see Nick Nat playing a full season. Yeah, their midfield's starting to age a lot, obviously, with Kennedy as well up forward. I think players like Liam Ryan and stuff will really sort of break out. I've had him finishing close to McColeman, but yeah, I think it is an aging list, and they have had their time in the sun. They did win their premiership, so congrats to them. But yeah, 10th it is for me.
Yeah, and Hamish Brayshaw's been delisted, so all the magic's gone off the field. All right, next up we have the Sydney Swans. I feel like they're a little bit irrelevant, but who knows? You could spice it up with a prediction here.
Adam's sitting at 13th, so just with their youth, I feel like they'll win some games and lose some games as expected, but yeah, I can only see them going up from here, so yeah. That's all I have
Yeah,
to
fair
say.
enough. They've bottomed out.
Yeah.
You'd hope they win some games and lose some
That's
games.
quotable.
Most
They will
clubs
win
will.
some games
Well,
and lose
You
some
can
games.
say that about any team in the history of AFL, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, win some big games and lose some big games.
Yeah.
If you get
that
what I
makes-
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, we know what you
Yeah, we're scared.
Rowey,
Yeah.
are you that positive on the Swannies or a little bit more negative on them?
I mean, I've got them at 14th. I've got them. I reckon I'd agree on the amount of games they're going to win if we had to do a win predictor as well with Finn. Yeah, I like their youth. Definitely not talking from a Supercoach point of view. I like all the young guns they've brought in and drafted. I reckon they'll be superstars, but obviously not yet. Obviously, I don't think they're going to take him up a massive rise up the ladder. But no, I'm liking where they're heading. They are one of those tiny bit of irrelevant teams at the moment, sitting in that awkward spot of the ladder. I do think they'll stay ahead of the bottom teams that we yet to mention, but I don't think they're quite ready to enter the finals calculations yet. I think when they do, it'll be once Buddy's gone, when that midfield's really priming and that defence is settled. So, yeah, I've got them sitting in 14th, but I'm keen to see them play this year. I'm liking how they're going to line up with a lot of talented youths and that mix with sort of JPK and Parker and hopefully Buddy. So a nice mix of youth and experience. I'm keen to see how they play, and hopefully they can knock off a few big teams.
Yeah, does Buddy still even play?
He's just racking up
actually
big bucks and just chilling on the sidelines.
And
Yeah, fair
unusual
enough.
stat for you. this is the year Buddy's getting paid the most out of his 10-year contract.
Correct.
So
1.5 million. It's reported this year.
yeah,
Wow.
That's outrageous. That's such bad management. Anyway, Jack, do you have them sitting in that irrelevant spot?
Yeah,
like the other
slightly
two?
lower than these guys, 15th. It wouldn't surprise me if they were a bit higher. I think they will. They're the type of team that could cause some upsets. I mean, wouldn't it be great to see the big Budweiser kick a couple bags at the SCG, just wind back the clock a little bit? But they've still got a lot of quality players. You know, young guys, Heaney, I like Florent, Mills. You know, there's talent there, so they're going to be okay in the long term. I also think Alir Ali is a huge loss. Great pick up by Port. We'll get to them later. But just they're a little bit lean on the spine. You know, they got Logan McDonald and a few young guys if Buddy and Sam Reid don't play, but they're a little bit thin in that department.
Question for you, Jay Broadbent. If Buddy played a full season this year, how many goals do you reckon he'd kick?
He kicks 60 at least, I reckon. I still think he's in the top 5 key forwards in the game when he's fit.
Fair enough. Big Buddy fan. All right, Rowey, your team now, mate. You've got the 2021 jumper on. How do you think your Saners will fare?
Well, I'll take last year as a W. I'll accept last year. It was great to get past that first week of finals and give everyone a bit of finals experience and finals experience in winning as well. I mean, it's not the most ideal start to the season, playing an Adelaide reject and North Melbourne reject and an Essendon reject in our starting lineup. But hey ho, it doesn't matter. Not to mention Max King got knocked out by a golf ball. But anyway, yeah, look, we're playing at Marvel. We like Marvel a lot. We suit the conditions very well. We're going to play very fast this year, similar to last year. And I think under the roof in dry conditions, that'll really help us. Because I think our ball movement has gotten a lot better over the off-season, especially with the emergence of Jack Sinclair off half-back, who just quiet boys. He might win the Brownlow. But I think that's a nice little mix of...
Half-back flanker, you reckon?
Mate, he was unreal. If he doesn't win the Brownlow, he'll go into the Guinness World Record book for the biggest cars I've ever seen. But anyway, yeah, I think that mix of quality ball use, which I think we're going to fix this year, and speed is really going to help us this year, especially considering we've got the hardest draw in the competition by far. We've been absolutely shafted. I don't know whose daughter that one of our players shagged of Gillan McLaughlin. But anyway, we've been absolutely shafted by the draw. But look, I reckon we're ready. You know, we've got a lot of blokes entering their prime. Hunter Clark through the midfield's basically Scott Pendlebury already. Maxi King up forward once he can start seeing straight as well with the golf ball. Hopefully clunk a few and kick some. I think he gets his hands on nearly every ball that's kicked into the forward line, but just because he's a young kid, obviously. Can't always swallow them, but he's an absolute freak athlete. I think Snags Higgins will be able to be an awesome addition as well. He was awesome against you boys, Broady. Tore apart your midfield of weaklings like Cripps, and up forward he was just a menace. So I reckon I've got us in 5th. It's a bit of a way up. You know, we're playing all the best teams in the comp, but we'll be back at Marvel, and I really like us at Marvel. So it'll really come down to whether we can win those close matches. I know last year we had about 5 or 6 matches that came down to less than a goal, and we lost nearly all of them. So I reckon with the momentum under the roof at Marvel, we'll be able to get on top of a few of those, and that'll launch us into 5th and hopefully deep into the finals.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to get down to a few games at Marvel this year. There's some exciting teams playing out of there. Jack, are you think the Saints will back it up, or are you worried for them?
No, I'm very bullish on the Saints. I mean, Rowey covered most of it, so I won't go too much in depth, but watched them against Carlton the other week, and, you know, they're really impressive. St Kilda at Marvel's become the new fortress in football. You know, like Geelong in Geelong or West Coast over at Optus. Like, they are really formidable there. They play such a fast brand of football with all their small forwards. It's pretty dangerous. And if you're not on your game, you're going to get smoked by them. So I've actually got them finishing 4th. I think they climb into the top 4. Don't know if they'll get into a prelim, but I think with the amount of games they play at Marvel, I know Rowey's complaining about the fixture. The fixture hardness, mate, is based on last year's results and teams. It could flip on its head. So I wouldn't go too much into it. So I reckon 4th for the Sainers.
Yeah, the excuses already coming out, really. Finno,
I had them
you've
finishing.
already spiced up your predictions with the Dogs.
Oh,
Yeah, what are you going to give us for the Saints?
I had them sitting in 7th. I know it's still a bit low, but looking at all the other teams above them, like Geelong, Richmond, Port, Brisbane, I can't see them really jumping up above that with the forward line they've got. Yes, it's a solid forward line, but there's no sort of like stars like Tigers. You got Lynch, Rewalt, Cats. You got Cameron Hawkins and stuff. So yeah, Brizzy have got Danaher now. So yeah,
I'd take Maxi King over Danaher just quietly.
I would too, but
Just quietly.
I would too, but looking at the calibre of players they've got in the forward line as well. But yeah, 7th is what I had them.
Yeah, fair enough, Rowey. Not happy with that one.
Well, I mean, there's a guy called Rowan
move on.
Marshall who's going to go down there and maybe kick 10 in a game. So we've got him as well, plus a full All-Australian squad member, Dan Butler. But I see your point, Finno.
I tell you what,
Don't
the lid
agree
is
with
off. If I've learned anything from this chat, the lid is off for Rowey, and they haven't even played a game yet. My goodness.
Yeah.
We destroyed you, Mob, in the preseason, so hopefully we can go off from there.
We beat Richmond in the preseason, but you know.
Austin McDonald was a pretty good tall forward, wasn't he, mate? Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Richmond, Broady, do you think they're going to be back to their best in 2021, or do you reckon this is a sliding year for the Tigers?
Oh, no, they're going to be there again, and it hurts me to say it, but, I mean, they haven't lost anyone. They lost Higgins, but he was a fringe player at Richmond. They've got no injuries. Their only, best 22 player who will be out round one's Hooley. But they've basically kept the same side. We know how good their system is. I mean, the only thing you can hope for is the friction with the Hardwick, we wouldn't call it a debacle, but, scenario over the off-season. Maybe that could cause something. But unless there's significant injuries, they'll cruise through the season, win enough games. I've got them finishing 3rd. And, they'll just make sure they're primed and ready to go for September football. And when they're ready to go in September with minimal injuries, I still think they're the favourites for sure to win the flag.
Yeah, I know there's some real lives involved, but I'm all about the maths drama at Punt Road at the moment. Finno, where do you think the Tigers will come?
I had the Tigers sitting 3rd as well. I just think that they'll, like Broady said, they'll win enough games throughout the year, and then September Dusty will arrive and unstoppable. So, yeah, I reckon they could be pushing for another flag, which obviously hurts to say it, but yeah, too good.
Yeah, Rowey, do you agree with everything that's been said?
Yeah, pains me to say I've got them in 3rd as well. I've got them finishing right up there. It's annoying how they can just sort of cruise through the year, finish 3rd, and then just prime for finals and explode. Obviously nothing really changed over the off-season, apart from Dimmer Hardwick spreading the love. So, I think they're just going to be right up there again. I think Lynch is going to take his game to another level. I've got them finishing up there in the Coleman as well. And I think if you've got to pick a team to take advantage of a new AFL rule, it's going to be Richmond. So obviously we saw how good Jaden Short was, and I'm sure he'll tear it up again on Thursday. So I reckon that'll be a massive factor in the way they play, because they're obviously really quick and just get the ball forward. Players like Liam Baker and stuff can help fill in those roles as well if Short or someone gets tagged. So I think, it's just going to be the same old for them. Cochin's maybe getting a little old, but they've got plenty of youth to come through the middle there. And just sort of tag team for him when he's battered and everything. So, I think they're just going to finish up there again, probably go for another flag, annoyingly. But, yeah.
Yeah, you've all got a top 2 spot vacant at least, so I'm expecting the next team to be placed in there. Well, based off all the expert talk I've heard in the preseason, it's the consensus pick. Port Adelaide, Finno, where have you got them, mate?
I've got them finishing 4th. I reckon all their young kids like Butters, Dersma, Rosie's got a little niggle with his foot, so he'll miss the start of the season. But yeah, those 2-3 that I've named will go to another level this year. And with the addition of Aaliyah down back, it's a very good inclusion. And I've got Dixon finishing up there in the Coleman as well. So it'll be another strong year for them, which will be good to watch.
Rowey, do you have them higher than that?
I do. I've got them at second. They're obviously very good over in Adelaide when they play, and their list is just their young kids are only getting older and closer to their prime. I love that trio of Butters, Dersman, Rosie. I remember when they first came on in 2019 and they destroyed the D's at the MCG. I just thought, how good is this? Because they were awesome.
That ended our season.
Yeah, exactly. Willem Drew just tore it apart in the middle as well and laid tackles on absolutely everyone. But yeah, they're only getting better. I think Charlie Dixon's going to be awesome as well. The emergence of Georgiades, who looked like a freak when he played, and Tom Marshall as well up forward. And then you've got Aaliyah down back. I reckon Fantasia can hopefully string a few games together without being laid out every second week. Yeah, I think they're going to be very good. Sorry, not decent. I reckon they're going to go deep as well. I reckon they might actually make the granny. If they can host a prelim, they're going to know how to win that one in front of their home crowd. They obviously just couldn't get over the line against Richmond, but yeah, I reckon they're going to be really good this year. They're going to be scary.
Jack, do you agree with that?
Yeah, second as well, same as Rowey. They were probably the best team in the comp last year until they wasted a few chances in a home prelim against Richmond, and the rain came, which didn't really help them. They've got a beautiful list. They've got, good experience with Boak and Gray and these types. And then, the spine's been improved with Aaliyah. I think Aaliyah's a massive inclusion for them because their one query was Cleary and Jonas got monstered a bit by the big key forwards last year. So now Aaliyah can take one of them, which will help a lot. Probably the biggest concern is Charlie Dixon going down. If he goes down, I'm not sure how their tall forward stocks go after that. I know they got Marshall and Georgiades is more of a third tall. There isn't really someone to stand up and fill that void. So if he got a long-term injury, they could easily not make the top four.
Peter Laddams is there too, though. But
yeah, that would be the man. But
if
that's
relying on
that's a big
Laddams
golf
in a prelim final. Good luck.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be doing that.
Finn, if I see the headline Laddams kicks 6, I'm going to shout you a slap this year. So.
Yeah, Broadies. Yeah.
We'll shake on that.
Yeah.
I actually listened to a podcast and all 3 of the experts on the podcast predicted Port to win the premiership. So interesting to hear you guys aren't as keen on them as they were. Finno, North Melbourne, probably not too much to talk about really apart from all the youngsters they have, but where have you got them finishing?
Yeah, there's not much to say about them apart from I think Luke Davies will have a decent year. And I've got them finishing 17th, so yeah, pretty another stock standard year for them. So
yeah, they'll probably take avoiding the spoon actually. Rowey, where have you got them coming?
Yeah, I got them 17th as well. If they're going to have to be pretty bad to go 18th below, well, there's no point in hiding it. Adelaide. Yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see how Davies goes. Simpkin as well there in the middle. I want to see if someone could break out because they need that sort of explosive mid in there, especially with Cunnington coming to the end of his career. Hopefully it can be someone like Zerha or something. If he can move us, yeah.
I'd love to see Stevenson have a great year. To all those Collingwood fans.
Yeah. Hopefully he can, kick 5 like he did against Adelaide a few years ago and do it every week. But yeah, I hope Zerha gets thrown in there. I love the way he plays his footy. I can tell you what, if he moves as well as he did on the Lucky Cock dance floor a few weeks back, he'll be just fine. But he was loving it. So, yeah, they'll have some really good youngsters as well. So I'm keen from a Supercoach point of view to see how they all go in my road to the 50K. Sorry, lads. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can win a couple of games this year and hopefully Davies takes his game to another level. Because being a Haileybury boy, we're all around him. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually probably North's most relevant aspect to 2021 footy is their Supercoach prowess. But
Yeah.
Jack Broadbent, what do you think of the Kangas?
Flip of the coin between them and Adelaide, who comes last? I went North as the Wooden Spooners. Bit brutal on North. I mean, it's all about playing the kids this year, isn't it? I mean, they've got some players who will do enough. If they fit, they've got a starting midfielder, say Goldstein and Cunnington, Simpkin, Jed Anderson, Luke Davies. So that's okay if they're fit and playing. But like their forward line's a bit ordinary. I mean, I think 4 wins would be a good year for them. I can't see them winning that many games of football.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Jack Zeeble goes down in the back line. I'm kind of looking at him for Supercoach, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's almost played every single position there is on a football field nowadays. But Rowey, I think we're up to you, mate. Actually, no, we'll let Finno talk about his Ds. We won't steal them away from him. How do you think your Ds will go this year, Finn?
I reckon I sort of was thinking they'd be just outside the 8th, but I've put him in 8th, which probably isn't a good thing.
He's got the miss.
Yeah. I couldn't do it to myself. No, but I don't know where we go. We've got no forward line to start. Tom McDonald, look out. The midfield will be pretty solid with Oliver and Petrarca, but I don't know. May and Lever down back. Guess that's all I've got for you. Yeah, hopefully we go all right, but yeah, not much else to add.
That sounds like a defeated Melbourne supporter.
He's ready for
Rowey,
a
where do you
in
think they're going to
September.
come?
He is.
Well, let me deliver the disappointment, Finn. I've got you guys finishing at 11th.
Thank you.
No problem at all. It's very easy for me to put them there, considering I don't think you guys have really improved much over the off season. Well, I think Stephen May is just going to be awesome for you down back. I reckon he'll win your best and fairest actually. But yeah, that midfield, I think Oliver's also going to take his game to another level. But I think Petrarca, I think he as good as the season he had last year. From speaking purely from a Supercoach point of view, his second quarter was always worse than his first, and his fourth was always worse than his third. So he does tend to sort of explode at the start of the game and sort of die off a bit. So with these extended quarters and playing at a G, which is obviously a much bigger ground than some of the grounds they played at last year, don't know how much of an impact that's going to have on his game, but I can't see him, I guess, replicating his season to the same extent. And then, yeah, your forward line is a bit of a mess at the moment. I mean, at least until Ben Brown comes back, you're going to have to hope that Tom McDonald carries a load, or maybe someone like a Luke Jackson in his second year. So
hopefully Gorney floats down there a bit. But
well, for my Supercoach team, I hope he just sort of floats around just getting the ball. But yeah, regardless, I think you got a few good kids in there. I think will play a bit. Jake Bowie, who rivals Hamish for the best red hair I've ever seen, has come in and he might play a bit off halfback. I think he's decent. Same with Bailey Laurie and all them. So, I think you guys are going to drop a bit, but it doesn't surprise me if you guys will fall into the 8. I had you there initially and sort of dropped you down one by one as I chucked all the rest of the teams in there. But yeah, fingers crossed for the season. But yeah.
Just Googled who that bloke is. It's actually
it's impressive.
He had a savage mullet at one point. It actually kind of looked like my haircut in January. Jack Broadbent, what do you reckon about the Ds?
I've been umming and ahhing about the Ds, but I'll sneak them into 8. I'm optimistic. If they can just get through the start of the season without Wiedemann and Brown and just get a few wins under their belt, once they come back, they'll be pretty solid. You've got May and Lever and those guys down back. I mean, the midfield's still very strong. Petrarca, Oliver, these guys, Viney, they can all play football, Brayshaw. So, I mean, the pressure's on Goodwin. I think it's finals or bust for Goodwin. Otherwise, see you later, mate. You can get out of here.
Agreed.
Maybe that players will play for him and they'll really dig in. I don't mind a stat here or there, and I found that on average over the last 20-something years, 2.8 teams have fallen out of the 8 after a season. So I thought, right, I've got to have a couple move out and a couple in. So Melbourne was one of them. We'll get to the other one later, but that's okay.
Yeah, that stat, everyone forgets that stat. The amount of predictions you see, people predict the exact same top 8. But it makes sense. But yeah, Rowey. All right, moving on to the Hawks. Bit of probably another team in that irrelevant category. But how do you think the Hawkers will go this year?
I'll tell you what, I don't know if you boys watched the Hawks game. I didn't. I was playing cricket. I had to watch the highlights. How good is it to see a Koziski kicking a bag of 6? It's been a few years, but we finally got one. What a superstar he was. I mean, coming up against North, I mean, what do you expect? But, I think this year, well, I've got them finishing 16th, but I'm speaking optimistically because of the youth that they've got. So it's a bit similar to teams like Sydney and all that. But I'm loving the players they've got. There's a guy called Tyler Brockman who kicked 3 as well. So between the 2 debutants that they're going to have in round 1, they kicked 9 between them. So that'll be really exciting. And then Connor Downey as well, running along the wings. He's an interesting background as well for him. So if you want to do some research, go and do that. But I think they're going to have a really promising year in terms of their youth. I think the recruitment of Tom Phillips is going to be awesome as well. He tore them apart, North Melbourne, in that preseason game. And I think he'll play a bit of inside and outside midfield. I think he was really wasted by the Pies. It's a sort of half forward and then half back and here, what, and wherever. So, I think it'll be an interesting year for them, a bit of an irrelevant team, but they still do have that sort of ability to cause a massive upset or two. I remember I had about $200 on Richmond and they choked it against the Hawks in about round 3 or 4. But yeah, hopefully players like James Warple and stuff can take their game to the next level. He's one of the best blokes I've ever met him at Half Moon. So he's basically my best mate. We went jumping off the Cerberus together. So, and then players sort of like Dylan Moore and Harry Morrison, they've all had those sort of awesome games, a couple of games in their career where they've racked up 30 and all that. So hopefully they can all take it to the next level and then hopefully cause some upsets this year. But it's nice to see them out of the top 2 or 4 like we've seen in previous years. But yeah, should be an interesting year for them.
Very wholesome there, Rowey. Love that story about Warple. Jack Broadbent.
I tell you what, Rowey knows all these AFL players.
Yeah,
you go around stalking them or something, mate?
Funnily enough, I just find myself in situations where I've just got to talk to one because they living it, mate. They're all around the place in Bayside. I tell you what.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm very impressive that you go up and introduce yourself.
Oh, at the Village Bell, mate. Give me a drink and I'll do anything. But, yeah.
Hawthorn, same, 16th for me. Finally, it looks like they've turned the corner and decided to actually play the kids and realise that they can't keep topping up forever. They'll win some games. They'll cause some upsets, as Rowey said, because they've still got a few quality players that can do some damage. Still got Gunston, Bruce, these types up forward, Mitchell, O'Meara. So there's good players across the grounds, but yeah, probably a lean year, 6-7 wins and finish 16th.
I had them 16th as well. So you guys pretty much said it all, but yeah, with a couple of those young players and not really much of a forward line with Gunston being injured and stuff, but yeah, I won't see them going that high up. They might be cause an upset or 2 here and there, but not much to report on them.
Right, Jack, similar to Melbourne, this team's under a lot of pressure, both the players and the coaching staff. GWS, do you think they're going to bounce back and head back to the promised land, finish top 8, or do you think they're still going to be sitting outside?
Just outside in 10th for me, mate. Jeremy Cameron's such a big loss. They're going to struggle to replace him. They've still got a lot of high-quality talent on their list, but I don't think they're coached very well. It's sort of sometimes difficult to see their game style. Like it used to be the run and gun off halfback, the orange tsunami or whatever they called it. But last year at times they just chipped the ball around side to side, and it was a bit boring to watch really. So Leon Cameron's under the most pressure of all the coaches this year, I think. But unfortunately, I think he might be given the flick this year if they do finish 10th, because this team was set up to win flags and they haven't done that. And when that doesn't happen, the coach usually pays the price.
Yeah, and it's not like he hasn't really had. He's been given chances. Finno, what do you think about the Giants?
I had them sitting in 12th. Might be a bit harsh, but I can't see the forward line functioning that well. Of course, there's Toby Green, but Riccardi's injured. Kimmelberg wants to take the number one role. I really can't see them kicking enough goals to win enough games. The back line's decent enough. Midfield's very solid, as always, with the Caniglio, Taranto and all that. So, yeah, not much else.
Rowey, do you think they're a chance at the top 8?
I keep trying to fit them in there, but just after seeing last year, I just can't find a way to do it. I've actually got them as low as 12th now. Once you sort of enter that phase of getting a bit lost as a footy club, it's really hard to get it back without bringing in players from other, senior experienced players from other clubs. I guess we've seen, I hate to keep on using my team as an example, but St Kilda have done it. Brought in like 5 players last year, and obviously no one really wants to go to GWS apart from players seeking a bit more opportunity in certain areas. Well, it has been the case in the past, but players like Braden Pruce, etc. Look, they've you look at their list and it's extremely talented. They've got one of the best midfielders in the comp. Their forward line, I know Cameron's just left, but they've got Riccardi, Finlayson, and Himmelberg, who I reckon would be a deadly trio if they found a lot more chemistry together. Their defense is also really good. And then they've got, players like Toby Green, who I love to watch, but he just, either kicks someone in the face or tears a hammy every third week. So, if he could string together a full season, I'd be Isaac Cumming all over the place. But, I'd love to see him play full season because I'd lock him in for a Brownlow if he did. But, I know it's just players like Taranto and stuff. They all have these little fundamental flaws. I know he has troubles with his kicking efficiency and all that. Everyone's got them. And I think in GWS's team, it does equate to a sort of a team failure and self-destruction like we saw last year, especially to the end of the season. So I've got them finishing 12th. I do think I'm going against my prediction. I do think they will finish maybe a bit higher. But I can't see them troubling the top teams who really gel as a team together. So, I've just got them finishing outside of that.
Yeah, if you just purely look at their ins and outs, it's pretty hard to justify a top 8 spot for them, but we'll see how they go. Finno, the Gold Coast Suns, mate, probably a tough team to predict, I'd say. Where do you think they're coming?
That might be, some people might have them pushing for the 8, but I can't see with the quality of teams now. I just can't see them going up there as of yet. Maybe in the next couple of years. So I've got them sitting in 14th. Might be a little harsh, but they got a lot of young developing players still in the forward line with Ben King and stuff. Rowey's obviously coming back from his shoulder injury, so look for him to improve this year and then take his game to another level in the next couple of years. Then the back line's very young. Connor Buderick, Ballard and Collins will be another brick wall in defence this year. So, 14th is me.
Rowey, do you think Matt Rowell can legit win a Brownlow medal this year?
I'll tell you what, if you played 22 games, I'd be very interested. I'd lock him in for a top 10 spot, honestly. Winning it is a whole nother story, but I reckon he would come close. I think for the Suns, I don't know if it was Broady's, Jack's turn. I'm just going to dive in though. Gold Coast being many people's second favourite team as my own. Really want them to see success. So happy that they finally sort of found a bit of ticker about them last year. Many people thought it was going to be 18th again, nearly no wins, but obviously got those early wins in there. Raul just completely turned them around, nearly off his own back. But I think it really gave everyone he sort of got everyone on his shoulders and said, "Here we go, boys, I'm here to play, so let's all get going," and they all did. So I think the extended quarters won't help them. They are still a very, very young team, but we saw they came out firing against Brisbane and nearly caused an upset in the pre-season game. So I reckon they're going to do that again this year. They had a lot of sexy time up forward with Alex Sexton kicking 6, so hopefully he can replicate that a bit this year. Benny King as well can hopefully snag a few, and hopefully his first quarters will be as good as his whole game, because I tell you what, it's rare to find players that have such dominant quarters than Ben King in the first quarter of every game. So hopefully they can just keep on building, just get more and more games and midfield minutes into players like Anderson and Rowell and stuff. Just get more games into Kingy and all them, and Lukosius, Isaac Rankin as well. He's incredible to watch. So they're definitely one of the most watchable teams in the AFL, and hopefully I reckon in a couple of years they're going to be one of the best. But right now, I think 13th is a good spot for them.
Jack, are you more bullish on the Suns or not quite?
Long term I am, but not this year. Finno was spot on the money. I just can't see him leapfrogging some of these other teams. I think some of the other teams are either a bit further ahead in their development or still older, more experienced teams that may be sliding but have a bit more talent and mature talent. I hope they do well. I think they'll win games. You don't want to play Gold Coast in the first 6 rounds because they're always good at the start of the year and then fall away. Carlton hasn't been round 4, so I'm very worried. They'll win games, get games into the kids. But 13th, maybe 2022 is their year where they really make a stride to the 8.
Yeah. All right, moving on to Geelong, one of the biggest players in the off-season, as they pretty much always are at this rate. Rowey, where do you think Geelong's going to finish?
My end of season predictions for this year haven't changed. I've got them finishing top. I think their off season has made their team nearly unstoppable. At least during the season, when it comes to finals, that's switches to Richmond. But I think there's just talent all over the place, and they're actually starting to find players emerging like Tom Atkins and Jordan Clark and stuff. We saw what they could do in their preseason game. Atkins exploded off halfback, and Jordan Clark was just a monster. So it'll be nice to see some of these youngsters get some games for them, which has been a bit of a rarity over the past few years. But yeah, I think that list is pretty damn good. That midfield is just nearly endless once you add Higgins into the mix and all the other players they've got. And now the two-pronged attack with Jezza and Tom Hawkins. And down back, they're just as sound. So I think they're going to be awesome. They're going to finish top, I reckon. I barely think they're going to lose a game all year. Down at Cardinia, they're going to be, it'll basically be like the Eagles back at Subiaco. So I've got them finishing deep into September. There's not much more to say, really.
Yeah, Jack, do you think Hawkins and Jay Cameron will combine for 100 plus?
Yes. Yeah, probably 120. I reckon maybe 165, 155, something like that.
165?
No, 65. One of them 65. Not 165. No. I agree with Rowey. I think the top of the ladder will be their finishing position. Whether they can beat Richmond in September is the big question, but they've got experience all over the field. Everyone knows their role. Everyone knows what to do. Their best 22 is frightening, really, how good it is. They've got Isaac Smith now on a wing, which is huge because it means Blitzarves can go back and fill Harry Taylor's spot. There's really, now that they've got Cameron, there's really no weakness across any of their lines. Their one question mark, Hawkins, they're a bit too reliant on Hawkins, but now they've fixed that. So, we know that they're not going to be around forever and they're going to have a lean few years. They have to, in the way they've topped up their list. But I like their style. Go all in, all chips on the table, and have a crack at a flag.
Yeah, I've got them sitting in first as well. Can't see them losing too many games, and they've just got an unbelievable list. Higgins off half back with the classy foot skills that he possesses, and Isaac Smith on the wing. Like you said, they'll be just too good, and I reckon it'll be Geelong, Port, and Tigers, probably my 3 teams that can win the flag this year. I can't see too many teams running over the top of them with that list. So
Yeah, whoever runs the salary cap at Geelong, fair play. They've absolutely smashed it. Right, moving on to Freo. Probably, I've said this about a few teams, but probably another one that's tough to predict. Could finish anywhere from like 15th to maybe sneak into the top 8, depending on who you are. Jack, what do you think of Freo?
Or they're a danger team for a lot of sides this year. I've got them 11th. I still don't think they can sneak into the 8, especially early in the season. They've got quite a few injuries to some tall blokes, so they might have a bit of a slow start. And once you start slow, it's very difficult to get your way into the 8. But we know that their top players are class: Walters, Fife, Mundy, and this young midfield of Sarong, Chera, Brayshaw is going to be one of the best midfields in a few years' time. So those guys getting better and having more experience will allow Fife to go forward, which makes a huge difference for their team. But their bottom 6 to 8 players are not quite good enough to be a finals team, in my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough. Finno?
yeah, I had them sitting in 11th as well. They've got pretty similar to say Sydney and Gold Coast and that. It's just that they've got a few more experienced and more mature players in Walters and Fife. I think with that midfield, like you said, Sarong, Brayshaw, Chera, they'll be a force to be reckoned with in the coming years. And it frees up Fife as well to just float down forward and kick a few bags. So not much else to say, but Luke Ryan will be a brick wall down back as well. So
yeah, super coach God. Rowey, I feel like you're a bit of a believer in Freo. Is that true?
Oh, nearly. I've got them finishing just outside the 8. I've got them at 9th. I think when they play at home, they're one of those crowds that, it's quality over quantity. They might not get the biggest crowd imaginable, but when they kick a goal or when they get up in a close game, they fire up. I remember going to like Essendon games and, it's at Marvel. There's not 100,000 people there, but like I just felt swamped. I reckon they can deliver the same effect at Optus. That midfield is going to be ridiculous in a few years of Sarong and Chera and Brayshaw and players like Hayden Young and stuff coming through. This year, I think, their key pillars up front and down back is still quite not good enough for the finals. You've got Taberner up forward who, isn't, quite an A. Is he an A grade or is he not? I know he kicked a few last year, but, you can't rely on him as your key pillar like Richmond did with Jack Rewalt during their premiership years. I've got him finishing at 9th. I think Nat Fife will be a massive part to play in that. Hopefully he stays fit for a full season or thereabouts. Same with Michael Walters. They're both pretty injury prone. I've noticed the most mythical player in the AFL, Ethan Hughes. He just had a monster pre-season game, 31 touches and 13 marks. And I've never seen that man set foot on a footy field, I swear. Just players like this, they're sort of bottom 6 or 8 players. I'm sure he fits into that category. Hopefully they can all take that next step and become a force to be reckoned with. And I'd love to see him in finals because speaking of second favourite teams, they're probably up there with Gold Coast. So, it'll be an interesting year for them.
Second favourite teams.
Oh, it's just them and Gold Coast, really. It'll be interesting to see because they are one of those teams that can finish anywhere between probably like 7th or 8th and 15th, depending on how the season goes. But, yeah.
Yeah, surely they'd be happy with the 9th.
Take that.
Who knows what Freo fans are thinking. Yeah, you'd think so. They're moving in the right direction. The Dons, mate, I was going to say they're a tough team to predict, but maybe they're actually not. Maybe they're just kind of in that irrelevant category. Where do you have them sitting, mate?
I had them sitting in 15th. This is because sort of like Curley's injured. Hooker goes down forward. They don't really have many down back apart from Jordan Ridley. Midfield will be pretty solid with Merritt, Parrish, McGrath, and Jai Colwell. the forward line, Peter Wright, I just can't see him carrying them through that many games. And then there's not much else in that forward line that I'd be thrilled with. So it might be back to rebuilding years with a few of those youngsters as well, Archie Perkins and Nick Cox. So yeah, it might be a bit of a rough year. So.
Yeah, that's not great. That doesn't sound too great for Essendon fans. Rowey, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I've got him sitting 15th as well. I agree with I think they are going to need a bit of a semi-rebuild. A rebuild without falling off the face of the earth like Hawthorn and Adelaide might be doing. So, the only way I can see jumping into the 8 is the usage of illegal peptides. So, which they are known for. But anyway, I think Merritt's going to take his game to another level. The combination of sort of inside and outside work will be awesome for his game this year. I think he's one of those players that will benefit from that because he does his best work both in and out.
Get him to the Supercoach team.
Oh, don't need to tell me, mate. He's in there. But I think those younger players coming through will really help that fast track that rebuild. Perkins and Cox and Zachy Reid. Tell you what, speaking of knowing players, can't say I spoke to him, but danced next to Nick Cox the whole night at Fortsy Hotel. 3 hours we both helped drag this psychomaniac off the dance floor. He was about to chon somebody, but hopefully he gets a few games into him. Hopefully he doesn't do that on the footy field because otherwise he'll get suspended with the ridiculously inconsistent MRP. But anyway, so I think it'll be interesting to see how they go this year. I don't see them finishing lower than 15th. I still think they've got a lot of talent there, especially in that midfield of McGrath, Shield, and Merritt and Parrish, who has a pretty beast game once or twice a year. And I think 15th is the right spot for them.
Broady, what do you reckon?
Nothing gives me more pleasure than Essendon being a bit irrelevant, to be honest. I'm just hoping that Zach Merritt doesn't actually have that great a year so that his free agent price isn't that high. Because he's going to come to Carlton. It's basically a done deal. My sources tell me. So
you said that last season.
Merritt's just got to cool his jets, not play that great footy, just leave it in the tank, and he'll look good in Navy Blue next year. And that's all I really care about with Essendon this year. They can suffer. They'll finish 14th. They'll win a few games, play a few kids, and see you later. On to 2022.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll just leave that at that. Rowey, the Pies, probably a team some people are predicting to drop out. Do you agree with that?
A lot of people have them dropping out. I've got them sitting at 8th, actually. I've got them staying there. I know they lost Trelaw, who, played once every second week because of his hamstrings. They lost Stevenson, who, last couple of years, have a couple of good games a year. And Tom Phillips, who they just wasted, really. I think their list has the talent there for a top 8 spot. I do think if they get a few injuries, which they already have done in side bottom, etc., then I'm not 100% sure about the remainder of their list coming through. So I have a bit of an asterisk next to them. So if they can stay fit, I reckon they might just sneak in there. Players like Crisp and Maynard, Howe and Moore in the back line. That's about the best back line in the AFL. Midfield's good as well, and Adams and Pendlebury and players like Dacos and stuff coming through there. Their forward line is the biggest issue, obviously. You've got the big American who can hopefully replicate that performance against Richmond in 2018. Hopefully he can do it just against Richmond because I don't want to see them be too successful, Collingwood. But, they've got a few good youngsters coming through as well. I know Ollie Henry just got announced he'll make his debut, so he's one to look out for. He just got drafted. So I think it'll be an 8th position finish, barring they keep an injury-free list.
Jack Broadbent, are they one of your 2.8 teams dropping out, mate?
Yes, they are. And I've got them sliding a bit to 12.
Thoughts.
I might be. Ooh. I mean, that's harsh. And I might be biased because I don't like Collingwood being a Carlton supporter. I just feel like there's been obviously they've had a really rough off season. They basically went over their salary caps, had to boot out players, which wouldn't have, been that nice for some of the players on the list. They would have felt, that's what they do to blokes. They get rid of them pretty easily. not a whole lot of relationship building. Then they had the whole problem with the racism and Eddie Maguire gone. So there's been a lot of turmoil. Whether that affects on-field performance, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Rowey's right. They've still got a lot of good players, but a few injuries, and I think their depth, like they're 20th to 30th, 35th player on their list is pretty weak to be a top 8 side. So yeah, we'll see. A few injuries, I think, might happen. They always do. So that means they'll finish 12th, in my opinion.
Finno, what do you
I
reckon?
got them finishing just outside the 8 in 9th. I just think with their solid backline, like Rowey said, more Chris, Maynard and Howe, I think that will be a hard backline to break through, but I just don't think they have the scoring power with young Ollie Henry. He looks like he'll be pretty good, but you can't expect too much from a first-year player. And Mason Cox, I don't think he's going to get back to the same levels he did against Richmond in that prelim, but who knows? He got his eyes fixed up, and you might actually be able to see the ball this year. So, yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I'm actually keen to watch the Pies. Braden Maynard's probably one of my favourite players in the AFL, and from what I saw last year, I didn't watch too much footy, but John Noble seems like a H. McCorkadale type of bloke, so keen to get around him. Jack Broadbent, what do you reckon of your mighty Carlton Blues?
Oh, here we go. I tell you, get on the Teague train, mate. I'm telling you, there's still memberships available. I'm happy to buy one for you. I'm calling it becoming 7th. No, well, basically, yeah. Early season, I am a bit worried, I will admit. We have a bloody hard first 6 rounds, like Richmond, Collingwood, Freo, Gold Coast up there, Port and Brisbane. Like, it's rough. And we don't really have a tall... We've got Harry Mackay, but with Curnow, McGovern, I know McGovern's not that good, but he plays a role. Out, it worries me. I think our backline is one of the best backlines in the comp now. Wiedering, Jones, our running backs, Sard, Doherty. I think it's pretty solid. I mean, the midfield's still a question mark whether there's enough help for Cripps. But hopefully the emergence of Paddy Dow will help a lot. He's sort of been a player that's done a few flashy things, but has really battled, to be truthful. But he's hoping that this year's his year. Walsh, Setterfield, Curnow, Williams, the new recruit. So there's a little bit more depth in that department. And my big call, I think Zach Fisher, the slippery fish, could be an All-Australian small forward this year. He's shown us some signs in the preseason.
Oh,
No,
my.
it's a big call. It's a big call.
You did not just say that.
It's a big call.
That's an understatement.
That's like Moz saying Cam Zerha's going to get in the All-Australian
No, it's a big call.
squad.
It's a big call, I know, but I'm sticking by it, and we'll just wait and see. Anyway, 7th, the Bagger fans will be up and about this year. I tell you what, it's going to be mayhem at the G when you're there, or even Marvel. We'll blow the roof off it if we start winning some games of football. Hopefully we can make the 8. Wouldn't it be good?
What is Carlton's home ground?
Both, really.
Fair play. That's our favorite player. Finno, what do you think about the Blues?
I had them because I had Melbourne 8th. Sort of had Collingwood or Carlton maybe slipping into the 8th, but no, I've got them finishing 10th. So might be a bit harsh, but I reckon it's with their forward line a bit unsure who's playing or like just the consistency of the team, I guess, and with Zach Williams starting off not playing, you've paid all this money for him to come over, and getting suspended before round 1 is obviously a great start for him. But you'll have Paddy Cripps looks like a new man, to be honest. His knee worries look past him. Sam Walsh will go from strength to strength, so I reckon they might be pushing for a top 8 position. So, yeah, look out, Blues fans. Get excited.
Yeah, fair enough. You look visibly scared there of Broady's judgment. You've done well, mate. Rowey, what do you think?
Oh, I know I've laughed at you, Broady, but I've also got them in 7th. I reckon the Blueberries will
Come
rise.
on.
I'm not quite sure about a few things we just said. Bear in mind, I'm not sure about Paddy Cripps looking like a new man. He looks as sluggish as ever against the Mighty Saints. And yeah, I reckon Zach Fisher will be a great player. All Australian might be pushing it a tad or 100 tads, but I reckon you guys, the recruits, will make a difference. So I reckon side coming off halfback will be awesome for you guys. Really drive you guys forward, which I think you might have struggled with a bit in the past. They never really had that massively damaging running play. The players like Williams, I reckon he'll be. Hopefully he isn't, but he might be one of those players that plays in the midfield, plays up forward, bit of a Toby Green role, but gets an injury and punches someone every second or third week. So I reckon you guys will be rising up. I reckon Marvel will suit your play as well. I reckon it'll be one of those teams that, even with 15, 20, 30,000, you're going to blow the roof off just because those are the type of supporters you are.
And that many?
Well, I'm being optimistic, but oh yeah, no, true. It'll make it sound like there's 50,000 at least, but maybe someone like Oscar McDonald can win the Coleman, but that's nearly as big a call as Zach Fisher finishing the All Australian. But nonetheless, I think you guys will go very well this year. I'm sure Walsh will just keep on getting better. The kid's a freak, so. I'm not sure about the Paddy Dow call. He's built like a schoolgirl and plays like one. But apart from that, I reckon you guys are going to be very good. I reckon the youngsters coming in are very good. Wiedering's probably going to be an All-Australian fullback. I'm looking forward to the Saints Blues. I reckon it'll be an awesome match whenever it is.
Yeah, I'm actually here for the Fisher call. I love the Fish. I'm here to see him become like the 2021 Dan Butler. But yeah, very excited for the Blues. There's going to be some great games at Marvel, I reckon, with like the Dogs, Saints, and Blues. There's going to be some fast footy, and I'm very keen for it. What's Nick Newman up to, Broady?
He's actually injured at the moment.
Is he getting the gig?
Newman. Remember that game we went to when he kicked 4 off the halfback flank?
Yeah,
that was unbelievable.
That's why I watch footy. Yeah, I just want to watch Nick Newman play football all year. All right, Finno. Last 2 teams, lads. We've done well here. 2 interstate sides. Finno, Brisbane. Where have you got them coming?
I had them finishing 5th. I reckon they're gonna have another pretty strong year with Andrews directing traffic down back. Neil will have another strong year, and Barry and McCluggage are only going from strength to strength in the midfield. And then the forward line, who knows what could happen there. If Danaher goes down, McStay comes back, and it could all turn to shit with Pitwood and stuff there again. But I reckon Charlie Cameron will have another solid year. And I'm hoping Danaher gets up and about, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I'd like to see Big Joe get up and about as well. Rowey, what do you think about the Lions?
Yeah, I've got him finishing in 4th. I've still got him in that top 4 spot. I absolutely love their list. Barry and McCluggage and all these youngsters, Zach Bailey as well. He's probably going to get a run through the midfield this year. I think they're a really exciting list to watch. And quick pay my respects to Cam Rayner, who I was looking forward so much to watching this year. Unfortunately, tore his ACL, but hope he gets better soon. And I'm keen to see him in 2022. But yeah, I'd love a few of these blokes. I know Charlie Cameron, played nearly on one leg last year, so hopefully he can get a fit body by round 1, which is literally in a couple of days. And being an ex-Essendon player, it pains me to say, I hope Joe does get up and about, and I hope he does play some games because the footy really is better when he's up and firing. Let's be honest. I remember he tore the Saints apart a few years ago on Josh Bell's debut game, and I was just thinking, Jesus, he took a hanger on Jake Carlisle, and yeah, he's a freak of nature when he's up and firing, Joe. Let me tell you, but yeah, unfortunately, injuries just always get the better of him. It'll be interesting to see how Lachie Neale backs up his career best season and Brownlow season. Our biggest dilemma right now, I think most Australians are saying, is whether to pick him or not in your Supercoach team. But nonetheless, I think yeah, I think it's going to be a very good year for the Lions. There's not much else to say. They're not the team that's really going to drop off, I don't think, not with the talent they've got and the fact they're only going to go up from here. Harris Andrews is an absolute freak down back, as Finn said, just directing the traffic and directing the boys. So, I reckon it'll be a top 4 finish for them. And hopefully they can push into a grand final, which they arguably should have done the past couple of years. They've had their chances, but this is probably the time to strike now.
And Jack Broadbent, do you agree with what the Lions have said?
Pretty similar. I've got them 5th for no real reason. I think they're a very good side, but I just think my top 4 sides will be better than them this year. Pretty simple. Danaher, if he stays fit, then they start really getting into premiership calculations. I don't know. I just feel like maybe one more premium midfielder away from really contending. Like if Neil's going to get a lot of attention this year after winning the Brownlow, and then after that, I know
They got
there's
Lions and Zorko though.
Yeah, Lions. I don't know if Lions is a number 2 midfielder of a premiership side. That's my concern. Anyway, I'll have another good year.
All right, Rowey, bring us home. I don't know why we did it this order. It's a shocking one to finish on. But the Mighty Adelaide Crows, I think it's pretty clear where you guys have got them. Finn and Rowey have got them 18th. I think Broady's got them 17th. But Rowey, maybe a little justification as to why you've got them down there. I don't think too much needs to be said, but
no, not too much needs to be said. I'm just looking forward to players like Rory Laird and stuff just tearing the competition apart. I think if he was in a Victorian side or just a better side in general, he'd be just a much more watched player in the AFL. But I think he'll be an animal in the midfield for them this year. I think that basically the whole team's lost when he doesn't play in there. We only saw a few matches in there last year, so I'll take it away from the Rory Laird show at the moment. But yeah, I think their youngsters will hopefully be all right. Maybe a few years we can maybe see some glimpses of that. But there is a role on the list, so I've got more reasons to watch them now. Hopefully Big Riley O'Brien as well can do some sickenings in the ruck. But yeah, not the greatest start to Adelaide's season, given the trade rooms have already started with the top 10 pick Fisher Maxey today. I don't know if anyone saw. It's rumoured that he'll probably request a trade at the end of the season already, so that's a great start for them. But, they secured a top 2 Adelaide boy in Riley Philthorpe in the draft, so hopefully he's all right. But, I've got him finishing at 18th. Nothing much more needs to be said.
Broady, why do you have them avoiding the wooden spoon?
Oh, mainly because they play in Adelaide.
Because North will be worse.
Yeah, because they play in Adelaide and they might win some games in Adelaide in front of their home crowd. They might get up and about a few weeks.
Fair enough.
But no offense to Adelaide. I have nothing else to add. They're going to finish 17th. It's been a long day, and let's finish on Adelaide.
Yeah. Finn, anything else to add, or just 18th?
Got him finishing 18th, and as Rowey said, keen to see how he goes for my Supercoach team, and that's about it.
Yeah. All right. We'll just do a quick whip around of some quick predictions. I just want one word answers. I don't need a justification. We'll start with you, Finn. Go Rowey, then go Jack. We'll start with the Brownlow. Who have you got winning, Finn?
I got Bont.
Rowey?
Tough. I've got Merritt. Zach.
Ooh.
That's not good for Jack's free agent pricing. Jack, who have you got winning?
Crip up.
Lovely. All right, Coleman, Finno.
I got Hawkins or Cameron, I reckon.
Oh, pick one, mate. The fence is giving you blisters.
I'll go Hawkins.
Yeah.
I've got Dixon.
Good choice.
Dixon as well.
Love that. I like it. All right, and then just to finish off, might take a little bit of thinking, but first coach to be sacked. Start with Finn.
Goodwin. The days will finish outside the 8 and we'll be gone.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
You sprung that upon me. I'm going to say Leon Cameron.
Buckley to resign.
Ooh, I like that. Three different options. And then finishing off, go, well, Broady's kind of already given us, but go surprise all Australian, or maybe you can go a surprise all Australian squad member, you know?
Oh, I'll go Zach Merritt.
He's been in there once before. I'm not sure how surprising that is.
Oh,
Yeah,
has
no.
he? Oh, sorry. Jeez. I don't know then. Who do we go?
He's on the spot. He's under pressure.
Yeah, no,
He's
I
panicking.
didn't think about this one. Surprise all Australian. All right, who's going to warm the bench
All
up?
right, well,
I'm just going to jump in there. I'm going to say Dougal Howard, fullback, lock it in.
Oh, wow.
love that. All right.
Maybe,
Jack, who have you got?
maybe Jack Higgins.
Ooh, that
Like
is
it.
very rogue. I like
I'm
it.
going to
very.
be biased,
All right,
but
Finno, back to you, mate.
Jake Lever in the back pocket.
Just quickly wanted to mention the 3 experts premiership predictions. I forgot to do it in my quick whip around. So Rowey and Finn have both predicted the Geelong Cats to win the 2021 premiership, as a lot of people are after their strong off-season, and Broady believes Richmond will be too strong once again. So I'll throw back to myself.
We'll
Cheers.
We'll take that. All right,
Don't
thanks
hate it.
for joining me today, boys. It's been an absolute slog. I think we're up over an hour and like 8 minutes or something. I told Jack it was going to be 45 minutes, but apologies for that. But yeah, really appreciated it. Looking forward to a lot more footy content this year. Keen to get into it and keen to go to some games as well, hopefully with you 3. But yeah, cheers.